Good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday evening, the 10th of September. Welcome to it, Sandman Sports channel. We're back to the regional title of Chats at the Crease. This is where it all started, with the rest of the clan, of course, on Twitter. But of course, today's conversation is around the entirety of the cricket fraternity, with squads being announced in the men's and women's respectively, with domestic cricket soon to make a return. And then obviously SA20 starting their buzz already. But before we get into that conversation, don't forget to do the usual things, like and subscribe. Leave your comments below on your thoughts on the squads, and who you think should be made or should have made the squads, either the men's or the women's. Let us know your thoughts around cricket as a whole. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms at Sandman Sports on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. We are on TikTok as well. Siso, we're here, my brother. We're here after big announcements over the past 2 weeks. I'm going to start off with the ladies, who had announced their squad after a culture camp in Durban that they hosted at the Kingsmead Stadium.
Yeah.
Interesting inclusions. You know, there was another podcast I'd watched, and the person didn't include a name, which I think has sort of been on my question list of questions as to whether or not they would be part of the squad. But we do have a neat squad, a lot of youngsters, Dolphins youngsters, especially from KZN, the likes of Ayanda Hlubi making her appearance, and a return to the squad. I know she's done particularly well, not just in the under-19 World Cup squads, but against Australia as well. Exactly, yeah. Seshni Naidu, who is also part of the squad. Those are two names that stand out, and obviously the usual captain Laura Volvaart is there, with the likes of Tasman Brits, Sunay Lees, Marazan Cap. This is off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly who everyone is, but those are the usual names.
We've got Bosch also, Sinalo Jafta,
yes, Nonkululeko Mhlaba,
Klaas, Elise Marie Monks. We have Dumis Kokune. You know, just basically that squad is all stacked with talents, man.
Dude.
You know, stacked with talents. And let's not also forget the fact that we just recently had the CSA Awards, of which were dominated by our captain, Miss Laura Wolfart, which was literally crazy to watch. But I think going on to the World Cup, I think when we had the conversation with Ayanda, I think one of the things I said to Ayanda is there's a whole lot that those ladies already have achieved in the past 2 World Cups. You know, the only way forward now should be upwards, because also let's remember they also just changed their coaching staff. You know. Where they lost to Hilton recently, of which I think it's been coming. A whole lot of us have been calling for it. I know I've been in the forefront of calling for a change of leadership when it comes to the selectors of the women's side and the coaching staff, because as much as Hilton has done a great job in taking those ladies to one semi-final and to a final.
Yeah.
You know, the only way forward is up now. Not just with the women, but also with the men. The fact that we finally we've finally also got into our first World Cup final. But we talk about the women for now, the men's are later. I think Seshni Naidu, man. Seshni Naidu has been impressing for the Dolphins. She's another one. I think she has been her star has been basically shining in the background, been overshadowed by Unongululego and Unumbuso, sorry, not Unumbuso, Unumbuso, Shangase at
Yeah.
the Dolphins. But now, also let's remember, she also had something about her, and the only way forward can be up. And I'm happy to see those Dolphins ladies in there, um, representing not just Ite, the Dolphins, but also about to represent the country in one of
Yeah.
the finest stages of their profession.
Yeah, I know we had I had an opportunity to speak to Coach Dylan Dupriya when they were here out at the camps, and I've obviously asked him a lot of questions, and he seemed quite open and quite comfortable. He's quite confident in the squad that he has, that they had out at the camp, and a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
those
yeah.
names were included in the squad. I know I raised question around the youngsters that have been included, and he's quite confident in the choices that are there.
Mm,
And the choices that he selected, I know those were the names, the likes of Seshni and Ayanda, who had come up. And I think for me, um, a question that I raised to him. Look, he's quite comfortable, and I think this is where it just makes sense. A big question that has come about is, um, do is this the right time for him to be at that position? Then without a head coach, them not knowing what the way is going to be, and I think him and a lot of the players, especially their captain, has come out and said, look, we spent a lot of time with each other.
yeah,
Coach Dylan was there during the World Cup, so he sort of understands the culture of the team. There's nothing lost with him being part of the squad and leading them sort of through this period, heading into the Pakistan tour and obviously into the World Cup. Um, with that said,
sure.
I raised the question around a particular player, and that of course being Sinead Liss, who hasn't had the best of seasons in in the Protea squad. And I think that's fair. And I think that's fair. But at the same time, I did raise question around whether or not she would be a good selection,
Mm,
seeing that there are players that can fill that gap, that have been performing, that have come to the fore.
mm.
I don't know. I don't know. Um, maybe I'm being quite what's the word, cynical, in a sense where I just cut someone if they're not performing, cut them out. You know.
I mean, I remember I had said the same thing about Nadine. Um, and
Ooh,
I remember I don't know if you
ooh,
remember, I don't know if you remember the conversation we had a couple of months back, and I was like, why is Nadine? I think we were about to go to Australia for the test, and I was like, why is Nadine there? Because she hasn't shown much since coming back from the injury that she had, which had and Dean was out for, you know. And I think it was Cody. Cody was like, "Bro, like, have you seen how much stats on Dean? Like, whenever she's went and played, whenever she's went and played franchise cricket,
yeah,
whether it's domestic or she's gone to the Caribbean and played there, or in the IPL she didn't perform." And I think that was my biggest factor was she's going on to play Test, but for the shortest
yeah,
format, she wasn't able to perform. And for the test side, she didn't perform. And Cody was like, but everyone didn't perform there, so why are you just singling out Nadine? Um, I think I'm gonna go there also with the Senior Lewis. I'm being some Senior Lewis. You need that experience. You remember we had said the same thing about the Timber. Why is Timber getting picked each week in week out for for 10 games is averaging literally his strike rate okay, was about 100 and something percent. But if you look at the amount of balls he faces and the amount of runs he has, averaging 10 runs in 10 overs, you know, with the scenario, you know, with the ball, she's gonna perform. With the bat, it's gonna be questionable. But with the ball, she's gonna perform. Oh, and also you need the lead. You need another leader in that team. As much as
Yeah.
yes, we say Lara is the captain now. You have Nadine, you have Marizan, and you're gonna have Sine. You know you have your pillars there in that team.
Yeah.
You have your four pillars in that team. You know, of which it's literally I don't want to say it's enough, but it's enough to some level. You know.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think, and it's exactly that, and I think that's where, I mean, you just said it yourself. In different departments of the game,
Mm,
where the one lacks, the other sort of fills that gap. So
yeah.
exactly in what you said, on the bowling front, she does well. But
Yeah.
then with the bat, even though she's, you know, that's where she started. That's how I know Liz. You know what I'm saying? But there's a balance. We've got Liz is sort of in that middle order, if I'm not mistaken. She's like
Yeah.
fourth, fifth, no? Um, but the likes of not Nadine, that the red-headed one, what's her name? Is that
Sorry,
Nadine? The one with the red hair. She's got such
red
a,
hair. No,
yeah.
Nadine has blonde. Nadine is blonde.
But one of them stands
Fanikak is
nicely in that.
blonde. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Funny Cat. Funny Cat um stands nicely in that fourth and fifth spot on the batting order. So, but then like,
But remember,
yeah, the weird one, the weird one.
Sine's an all round. Like Sine is some sort of she can slots in at the tail end of the batting
Yeah,
lineup. That's where she can slot in, but also she can slot in the middle, in the middle,
yeah,
basically just before your all rounder goes in, where she can also come in and she can also do the things. Or if you need someone who's gonna come in there and be a frustration and basically be a team player, allow Laura and Marizan to play big shots and have her play, those ones and twos. She can do that. She can
yeah.
definitely do that. But also on her day, she can turn up. She can turn up also. You know, I don't know.
I have,
Um,
so I have
yeah,
the
yeah,
squad
sorry.
here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have the squad here. Captain, of course, Laura Volvart,
Oh,
Annika Bosch, Tasman Brits, Nadine de Klerk, Andre Deckerson,
yeah.
Mika de Ridder, who's a nice inclusion. Ayanda Shlubi, who of course we've mentioned before, who's done particularly
Yeah.
well with the ball. I honestly
No,
see her. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by just her name. I don't know. That she's very young, right? She's very
who
hungry,
should be
very confident. Shlubi is very young, very confident,
very
very
confident
hungry,
from our conversation last time, and that girl is confident about her
hands
ability.
down, hands down. I think she will be well on her way to becoming um someone like what's her name? Ishmael.
Yeah, I remember she
I
did
think
say. I remember she did say one of the players she looks up to was is Ishmael. So
Shabnim, yeah.
Shabnim, yeah.
So there's Shubi, of course, Sinalo Jafta, Marazon Cap, who's done really, really well in the
Sine,
100. Ayanda Ayabonga Kaka, Sinai Lis, Nkululeko Mlaba, Seshni Naidu, who's capped in the senior squad for the first time.
mm.
Tumi Sekukune, who also played really well in Australia as well. And then Chloe Trion, who I think makes a return from injury.
I was-
And then,
yes, I was about to state that actually that it's good to see Chloe because at some point I thought Chloe had retired. I thought Chloe had retired, and then I think it's the same thing with Nadine. Remember when Nadine, when Fanika got injured, everyone had thought she's about to retire because she had been out for a very long time. I think it was the
Yeah,
same thing with Chloe. Chloe got to take a step back and retire.
yeah. And I think that's a name we failed to mention in the seniors list. Who's an important inclusion into that squad.
Mm.
But we've seen her do so well in the last World Cup. Um, she was among the seniors that carried that team through, bruh. So
No, she
that
was. I think in that semi-final that we lost, if we lost against Australia, if I'm not mistaken. That terrible semi-final where the ladies just kind of broke down. No, it was India. Sorry, it was India. The ladies kind of just broke down in the last few overs and just lost it when they had it.
yeah, they really did. And she was one of them who, like, I think, yo, I hate to say it now, but she choked. It's like the pressure got, yo,
But the
yo,
pressure got to
and
everyone.
that was the final, eh?
The pressure got to everyone though.
It does, and um I think slowly but surely that's something that the squad is getting used to. The youngsters seems to do really well with the pressure. Um,
Mm,
I'm not saying that the old ones don't, but I think that is that is quite often the assumption that the younger ones have no idea how to handle pressure. But I think with a lot of the youngsters who've been
mm.
included in who've been included in the under 19 World Cup has sort of been prepped for that pressure. Mentally, they're just so strong. Um, and I think
I think
that's why we can have so much of confidence in this young squad, because this is a very young squad there.
I think also what we're seeing here, they are trying to do a thing of continuity, get like promotion from under 19. You need to be able to play yourself into that into that senior side, and like you said, we are seeing more of the under 19 ladies filter into that into that senior side. I mean, Laura, let's not forget, Laura's still young. Laura's still
Mm,
young. Lara got into a team that was aging, you know,
yeah.
got into a team that was aging, and we forget that Lara is only still 24, 23, 25, there and about. So the ladies who are coming in, they're not far behind her when it comes to age. And I think what they got used to, the ladies who are coming in, like your Shubi, your Naidu, those ladies they got used to the under 19 pressure. Now add that with Laura's experience as a first teamer, as a senior player who's played minimal under 19 but played majority senior cricket. You add that together, I think they'll fit right in with Laura because they'll be able to continue into, I think it was like in the next 8 years possibly they'll be able to play
Mm,
together. Remember, cricket is a very you can play until like in your late 30s in cricket, of which it's something we've seen whether in the men's or the ladies on the ladies side.
yeah,
So
and I
of
think
which that's good for them.
yeah,
Um, no, continue.
I think I think aside from age, I think just from a logistical perspective, especially like adds so much of value to the squad. Especially since
Mm,
it's a squad that's heading to subcontinental conditions in Pakistan and the UAE. It's a team
mm.
that is not familiar with the UAE, but the UAE has been compared to the likes of Durban, Australia,
Which is why they had their
um,
champion in Durban.
and exactly. So it made sense. Pakistan is another one. And even
I was
though
about to say that,
you
yeah.
yeah. So even though you can sort of lean on other players and teams that have played in the UAE, especially during the IPL in 2020 and 2021, I think just it's sort of they sort of going into the World Cup blind in a sense, having never played on those grounds before. But I think,
Besides, but remember, they also have those ladies of those four ladies I mentioned earlier, Marizan, Lara, Nadine, Sine, who play Caribbean, who play IPL, who play
yes,
UAE,
yes,
Taz also, yes. They played
yeah,
also all five of those they played international competitions, not just
yeah,
domestic competitions. So they'll be already acclimed to those to those conditions in the UAE for the World Cup. Because if I look at the fixtures here, we first Pakistan first and foremost in September, right now in September. And then
yeah,
we go on to play our warm up against Australia. We play one warm up against Australia after playing the Pakistan series. And then we go on to play the West Indies on the 4th of October. Afterwards, 5 days later, we play Scotland. Um, 2 days later, sorry, no, not 5 days, sorry. 3 days later, after the West Indies, we play England actually. 2 days later, we play Scotland, and then 3 days later, we go on and play Bangladesh. I think
mm,
from the fixtures I just mentioned, I see two very hard fixtures. Winnable. One of them are winnable. One of them is winnable. I think the England
yeah,
fixture is winnable. If I'm being totally honest, the England fixture is very winnable. The Bangladesh fixture, Bangladesh always has our number.
yeah, that's
Whether
true.
it's the men
But
or
I
the
mean, like,
women's, they
yeah,
usually have our number.
but like I was saying earlier, I think again, adding to everything you just said, we have experience, we have, um, we have experience, but also we have we have coaches who and a team that's thinking about like what's important, right? So they've made
Mm,
they've included valuable youngsters, right? So we have
mm,
a fast bowler in Klubi, we have a leg spin in Seshni. Um, and those inclusions, including Trion, because Chloe is originally from from KZN. She's played there.
yeah, yeah.
We have what is this lady's name? Interesting. But yeah,
Nadine.
they
Remember, also Nadine
okay.
can also bowl. Nadine can also
Yes.
bowl.
But I mean,
Sanika can also
these
bowl.
are teams, not these not just teams, players that are experienced in subcontinental areas, but they're from there, so they like. My point is, we have a leg spin, and it's important to have something like that in
Yeah.
in in
Especially
those areas.
especially in
Yeah,
those
that's the
conditions.
point.
You know,
Yes,
Sine is spin,
yes.
Nadine is spin, Shubi, and that's no, that didn't Tyrone play Wiki most of the time before Jafta came
Trion,
in?
yeah, Trion is better wiki field.
Mm,
Um, Lefty is what is lefty? Mlaba is fast on the ball.
mm.
Yeah. So we have a good balance of fast. Anika who doubles um as medium fast. Um, who else? Who else? I'm looking
But
at the
yeah, I
name.
mean, the ladies, the one thing we can say to the ladies for the World Cup preparations,
Yeah.
we hope that they go very well and they're able to just perform. And looking at their counterparts, then the men's, they are currently they've started preparing for the 2026 World Cup. And there's a whole lot of drama happening there, honestly, in that side. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't know. I need to know? Do I want to know? There's
You
always
want
when
to
is there
know?
not drama happening with the
Quinny,
Proteas?
man. Quinny and Rob Walters. It's almost like they're beefing or something. I don't know. Do you remember when Quinny announced a few years back he's quitting, he's retiring from red ball cricket, right?
Right.
He retired from red ball cricket because he said the factors of him retiring are because of family. He can't be traveling. He can't be traveling half a year for a whole half a year, and he's only seeing his family around. He's only seeing his family just twice because he also has the other international competitions he wants to go play in. Okay, cool. They gave him that. He also retired from ODI. Retired from ODI, and I think after the World Cup, it was announced that he might also be retiring from T20, like international cricket,
Nje.
all you know. And then now I think his contract is done. His contract is
Yeah.
done with CSA, but he hasn't officially announced his retirement. And as media, we want to know what's happening with Quinny because we've seen that he's available, but he's not. He doesn't have a contract with CSA with the Proteas anymore. You know, but also he hasn't even announced that he's retiring, and we are about to to play a World Cup. We started preparing. We started preparing for a World Cup, which is going to be played in 2 years' time, 2026. But our main man is not there. The man we feel like is the person um, we need, you know, to to push forward when it comes to World Cups or T20s or whatever competition we play in, which is Quinny. We do need Quinny, if we're being totally honest, you know. And Quinny is nowhere to be seen. Like, when's Ireland relevant? Like, what's happening there with Rob Walters and Quinny?
I think I think it's been a long time coming. I think we knew that Quince on the clock was gonna call time, or he's like he's been cooking something, right?
Yeah,
I think um when was it? When we got the ODI retirement announcement, and then
yeah.
we saw him perform in the SA20 and then in the World Cup.
Mm.
Like it just looked like, I don't know, this is my opinion, right? But it just looked like Jay. Like he wasn't playing seriously, if I can put it like that. But
Remember, we
more
have a World Cup this year
influence.
playing. We're playing a World Cup also this year. Sorry, I said
Exactly,
2026.
exactly. So the thing, it boggles me. It boggles me, but it's also not surprising because it's like, and I think this is something we had. These are conversations that we had. Hori, no, this guy is gonna call time sooner than later. Like
Mm.
he performed really well last year in the World Cup. Well, at least he
He played
tried.
like he played
He
like it was
played.
his last World Cup.
Yes, he played. He exactly. And Brad, did we not say that? The way Quentin de Kock is playing now is playing like it's his last World Cup.
Yeah,
Like
everyone is
he was
saying that
winding up.
actually. Even Ricky Ponting actually paid homage to Quinny on some. He's been very fantastic to watch. I don't know if I still have the video on my phone. He's like fantastic to watch over the years from coming in against India back in those days. I think it was back in 2012 when he came in and
Yeah.
just blasted India against India. By the way, came in against India, blasted India. He got 3 centuries, or was it 2 centuries, and then a half a century, if my memory serves me right. And then just paid homage to Quinny. Everyone just was in some an awe of Quinny and as to what he has achieved in the game of cricket, international
Yep.
cricket, and then now we see that all of, well, hopefully him, Rob Walters talking like this, it might be signs of Queenie might come back.
I don't know. I think there's just a big question mark around Quinton de Kock and his inclusion into the squad. Um, I think we'll just have to wait. We'll just have
Yeah,
to wait to see how things go. Um, yeah, the last time we saw him play was World Cup. The last time
World
we saw
Cup.
him
Yeah,
play was The last time I even saw him speak was was West Indies before the World Cup.
Yeah.
And that question was raised, and he didn't say much.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know.
Or
Quinton,
maybe it was a matter of maybe it was a matter of his country. He wasn't offered a new contract by CSA. I don't know. I mean, you find players coming out and saying, "I wanted a new contract. I wanted a new contract, but I wasn't offered a new contract." Maybe maybe it was a falling out with the coach or someone from the higher ups.
that 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 seems to be a lot of what's being said.
Mm.
A lot of
But
between him and Coach Rob.
mm,
But nothing. Yeah, I don't know. This is a weird one. But I think at the same time, it's it's sort of a positive thing because it's leaving the door open for other wicket keepers, and it's leaving the door open for
mm,
other open batsmen. Um, Perhaps the likes of Riza Hendricks, which sometimes I'm not quite confident in. Um, has a good chance of standing as an opener. And to show just what he's
Reza,
capable of. Yeah,
Reza. I mean,
yeah,
I like Reza. Like I was about to say, on a lighter note, we did have our ODI and T20 squad announced. The boys who are gonna go on and
yeah,
basically, but I mean, for those boys, that team who are gonna go on and play Afghanistan, the ODI squad. I see Timber's back. Um, Berger is there. Dizorzi, Fortune, sorry, Reza, uh, McSauce, which is Malcolm, Mulder. Lungi is back. I like seeing Lungi in that side because, I mean, after all that criticism he got before the World Cup and the fact that
yeah,
he hardly ever featured in that World Cup squad. Also, Andile is back. Also, remember who took over in that who got a position in the coaching staff. Hence why we see Andile Pehlewai is back because we know how Andile plays under a coach who backs him.
yes,
You know, under a coach who believes in him. We've seen how
yeah,
Andile can perform for the Dolphins, and we've always said was if only Andile can take the performances he puts on for the Dolphins, he puts them on for the Predators. But it's almost like the previous coaches have never believed in Andile's abilities. But Imran Khan is the man I was talking about when I said the man who came in and is an addition now. Imran Khan is someone who believes in Andile and his abilities. And let's look at also the amount of Dolphin influence that's in that squad. Sibilali, Batman, Pihluwayo, Jason Smith, sorry. Um, you know, it's just amazing. I'm shocked not to see Miller in the squad. Actually, that's another
I just
thing.
wanted to say, I had um my eye was looking at exactly that, but then at the same time, we this is Afghanistan. I don't want to disrespect Afghanistan, but
Mm.
perhaps to me, what it feels is though they sort of bringing in an inverted comma second tier squad, or a squad that's
Yeah.
they try not a second tier squad per se, but like you know how for instance, look at I'm comparing it now to the Springboks, which is probably not a wise idea, but
Not ideal. Two different sports.
no. Hear me out. Hear what I'm saying, right? We've got depth in South African cricket, right? Whether it's
Mm.
senior players, whether it's junior players, whether they players where from Lions, from Western Province, from here, it doesn't matter. I truly and honestly believe
Yeah.
that it depends on the occasion that we have the right players for that. I think Miller's got a lot
Yeah.
going on. Miller's going to have a child, a child now.
I was about to say that also. That might have been another, and the man just got hitched also, if I'm not mistaken. He
You
also
know,
just got married. So
so Daddy David is busy, bruh. Daddy David needs to settle in for the next 9 months. And it goes back to what I was saying with the omission of Quinton de Kock. For me,
mm,
like you look at that, but then at the same time, it's a thing of we're making way for other players to sort of show their depth and show that they deserve their name in the squad. The likes of Jason Smith, the likes of Andile Pehlewayo and Lungingiti, who we haven't seen play for a while. Maybe also
yeah,
a chance for Temba Bavuma to redeem himself because he's gotten a lot of slack. I think that's he's gotten a lot of slack
I love.
and I think
I,
yeah,
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you remember when the boys were up in when the boys were playing the World Cup. Tim was having the time of his life in Portugal. The man was posting that he's on a break while the boys were on the run to basically achieve what no other pro team has ever achieved and go beyond that, which was go to a final and possibly win the World Cup. Tim was in Portugal, just zen. Basically, the man was on some, yeah,
and I remember a lot of conversation just like outside and banter with people. Twitter has been wilding.
mm,
And I think the big name on Twitter was Gibbs. Gibbs and say uh, uh, when um when Temba wasn't included in the squad. And a lot of
yeah,
people sort of were excited around the fact that Temba's not included in the squad. And then all this goes and happens. They make it to a final,
yeah.
um, and a nail biting one for that. And then a lot of people say that yeah, it's because Temba wasn't there, which is harsh.
You know what?
Which is
As
harsh.
harsh as it might have been, it was true. But also, there's a but here. I would have loved Timber to be on the background, on the behind the scenes, trying to, as a leader of that team, as also a captain of that team. Just trying to push the
Yeah,
boys forward and trying to help them out and possibly achieving what they've never achieved before. Also him being able to have a hand in helping the boys go forward. I think would have done a whole world of confidence for him, but also myself as an athlete or former athlete, I know that sometimes you are next to the action. You don't want to be just be around. You want to be part of the action. You know, Going back to the Cristiano Ronaldo 2016 or 2017 National League final where he just came out injured with a
yeah,
strap on and just motivated his teammates to just go forward. 2018 motivated his teammates to go forward and win that. Oh, it was the Euros actually. Euros, yes, it was the Euros. Then when Portugal went on to win those Euros, look, talk about Portugal. Tim being in Portugal now. I'm using Portugal as an example.
you're completely
But yeah,
correct.
but to everyone else who's listening, please don't forget to like, subscribe on all social media platforms, guys. We are here not every, but on most Wednesdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, just intending you guys. And like Ms. Cross said, we are back to our where it all started. Us just chatting the crease, man. Has been fun so far. Just right now, we're chatting about the men's side, the protest side, is chatting about the
Yeah,
possibilities of them going on to play the ODI series against Afghanistan, and then now also later on in the month going on to play Ireland in the T20, which we'll see with Temba being not being part of that side, and literally going on, we will have our captain Umek Source taking over, and we will have Well, basically the same side without Timber.
Yeah,
Krieger's coming in. Krieger is coming in for Timber. I think that's the only change from the ODI to the T20 side. What do you like, man? What do you think about the amount of changes we've had so far in in this protest side? Because we're not seeing the likes of Kias, Urabada. Is it a matter of, like you said earlier, just giving those boys a break? You
yeah.
know, if they are in the Maldives, go on, be in the Maldives, take a breather. If you are in New York, take a breather, see the sides and everything. What do you think about all these changes we're seeing right now that Ura Bolters and the selectors of the Proteas have made?
But I think it's like I said earlier, it's the thing of just giving youngsters game time. These are solid players,
Hmm.
brilliant players, but at the same time, it's 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 a great mix of World Cup experience and international experience, and just bringing that together. Um, it's that winning in the youngsters, or the less experience in with the more experienced, giving
Yeah,
valuable game time. I also think I also think it's an opportunity to sort of start seeing, who can handle what, where. Um,
yeah.
I don't like what is the right words to use. Second tier is not the right words.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry. Carl also is out. Carl is out, and we have Ryan in. Ryan Rickleton is in the
yeah,
T20s. So Carl out, Rickleton in. I mean, Carl has also been sorry, sorry. Carl has also
Ryan,
been another one who's struggled in the past. But we've seen
yeah,
Cal been given an opportunity in the ODI, and then for the T20s, he's out because we know what Rickleton can do. Same thing with Matthew Britsky. We know what both of those boys can do with the bat in
yeah,
hand. They can be very dangerous with bats in hand. And with the Matthew with behind the wickets. You also have Tristan behind the wickets. You can
yeah,
also fill in there. You know, um, it's Williams. I mean, I feel like Williams has always been seen as whenever he comes in, you think of a second stringer. So for Benzema, you think of him as what Higuain was to Benzema, basically a second choice to the likes of KG and Nokia. Whenever those boys are not
yeah,
there, or Lizard is in, but whenever he's came in, he's performed. He has really performed. And
yeah,
what I'm thinking of what Vian Mulder, one of the reasons why Vian Mulder is in this team is because of how he performed when he played. I think it was the UAE when he went on to play in the UAE. I don't know if you were watching those matches. I was just watching them just recently. Was it the UAE or was he playing in Australia? But I know it's one of the international competitions. One of those international competitions where he just went on and blasted the ball all over. That Vian Mulder this is.
yeah. I don't know. I think I saw Vian play in the SA20, and here and there he struck well. And then he made an appearance in the World Cup squad.
Yeah, he
Um,
did. He did.
and I think, though it was, I'm trying to recall just what I saw and not figures per se. Um, I think here and there he sort of struggled. I think the nerves got a bit the better of him. Um,
Mm.
but then at the same time, again, it goes back to what I was saying. It was an opportunity for him to just gain that international experience. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there would have been a better option over, not a better option, but someone else that could have got that chance as well.
I know,
I'm thinking.
me
I'm
thinking
saying things
of the
gonna sound
boys, me
very
thinking of the
heavy.
boys, I'm sure they'll say yes, there would have been a bit better option. compared to him.
I know, I would have definitely agreed with that. I'm trying to think. But anyway, yeah, Mulder, it's a rough one. But again, an opportunity for him to show his colors and just show his capabilities out in the field, as a batsman and just as a cricketer as a whole. Yeah, this is an interesting squad. I'm hoping. Here's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see. I had the squad in front of me. I want to have it in front of me while I'm saying what I'm saying, so that I have.
Yeah. I
I,
also have the squad in front of me right now. Hey.
So just to give the names of the squad, it's Themba Bavuma as captain for the ODIs against Afghanistan.
Yeah.
The ODI squad, Themba Bavuma as captain, Othniel Bartman, who's done extremely well, extensively well as a bowler.
Domestic and international has done well.
Domestic, international, domestic as in Dolphins, domestic,
Yeah.
domestic as in that Orange Sunrisers.
Yeah.
Um,
SA20.
yes, in the SA20. He was also in the IPL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he was called out for the IPL. I don't think he
in-
featured though. I don't think he featured that much in the
but
IPL.
he was called up, yeah.
Yeah, he
Done
was called out.
massively well for the Proteas. Nandre Berger, Tony De Zorzi, who we've seen do well in red ball cricket, struggle a little bit in white ball cricket, but a great inclusion for the squad. He does well up at the top, when he's not under pressure. So I think he'll play really well alongside Themba Bavuma. Bjorn Fortuin, another spectacular player with the ball. Riza Hendricks, who I'm also hoping to see up at the top. And maybe for at least one game, Themba not play and have Riza and Tony open together and just see how that combination works in the openings
Reza
of
at
that
three.
ODI.
I think it'll be Reza
Hey?
at three. Timber to open. I think it'll
Yes,
be
yes.
Reza
I,
at
I
three.
do think
Timber to open.
I do agree with you. I do think that's what's going to happen. But like I said, it would be nice to see how they do without Timber, just to see if they're confident enough to sort of build the game for the boys, and then whoever takes over. Um, I know Tristan Stubbs also does really well at the top. He's also part of that squad. Aiden Markram, of course. Vian Mulder. Aiden Markram, he adds value also on the bowling front. Vian Mulder as well. Lungingiti, Andile Peshegwayo. Kaba Peter, Andile Similani, Jason Smith, Tristan Stubbs, Kyle Verreyn, and Lazard Williams. It's weird to see not to see Mapaga's name here as well. But I think just him being I don't know. Yeah, it is really weird not seeing Mapaga's name. I
But
think there's nothing else to say.
I think my partner being there, I think they'll love to have him when the A team, as you call him, that when the A team comes in for him to be able to learn from those boys and be around those boys more. Whereas I think while you find Markram and Utemba in there in that team and Ulungi is to basically bring some sort of leadership. I don't want to say I want to say mentorship to some of the boys who are there in that team, and just help them
Yeah,
along.
yeah. So it's interesting inclusions, a simple team. I don't want to say let me not say it.
No,
For some simple team for simple opposition, I think.
with
Um
all due respect, remember that. With all due respect.
with all due respect, but at the same time, yeah. They are to face off in the UAE, and then they go on to face
Ireland
Ireland
in
as
the
well.
T20.
Like you said, you mentioned a little bit of changes in the T20 squad. Markram leads that squad against Ireland. Themba Bavuma not being included in the squad. Othniel Bartman, Matthew Breedska, Nandre Berger, Bjorn Fortuin, Riza Hendricks, Patrick Creer, Vian Mulder, Lingiti still in the squad. Loving seeing his name here. Baba Peter, Ryan Rickleton, who comes to the squad as well. Andile Similani as well. Jason Smith, Tristan Stubbs, Lizard Williams. I'm enjoying seeing Stubby's name on this list as well. I do think he's a valuable player to the squad. He's a knocker.
Yeah.
He's someone that can build runs for the team and sort of build momentum. He does really well in the middle order, and then
Sorry.
he stays in. He's he no yeah he stays in the team for the ODI squad against Ireland. Um, with Temba Bavuma coming back as the captain, Oatmeal still there, Nandre as well. Tony Dezorzi making a return to this team. Bjorn Fortuin, Vian Mulder, Ngiti still, Petlegwayo also making a return to this team, who's not included in the
Yeah.
T20 squad. Aba Peters consistently in this team as well. Ryan Rickleton will make a return to the ODI squad in Ireland, but is not an inclusion for Afghanistan. Um, Jason Smith as well, Tristan Stubbs, Rassi van Edison will come to the squad. Carl Verheyen as well, and then Lazard Williams. So that is sort of
But,
what the squad will look
but
like.
also let's remember, this is all for them having to go on and play to prepare for the World Cup. After the World Cup, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be very interesting. We're gonna be in
Mm.
Durban. We're gonna be seeing a sea of blue in Durban, literally
Yep.
a sea of blue inside the Kingsmead Stadium. I think one of the things I liked seeing was I think we have a double hitter where the ladies are going to be opening up for the gents. I know
Yep.
Mo would hate me saying that. Ladies opening up for the gents, but afterwards you'll see the boys in green and gold go on to take the pitch and just represent Durban and Kingsmead also. I think that's one of the things I love seeing. I'll basically get 2 for 1, a 2 for 1 special here in Kingsmead
The double header,
of fixtures.
the
Yeah,
double header of fixtures.
a double hitter.
Um,
Yeah,
but all that action obviously starts. It's nice to see back-to-back games and a lineup where we're gonna watch two games at once. But on Monday, which is the 16th of September, which is next week,
yeah,
the
yeah,
first T20 between Pakistan and the women Proteas kicks off at 4 o'clock. It follows with the men in the first ODI against Afghanistan at 2 on Wednesday, the 18th of September. On the same day, at 4 o'clock, the second T20 between Pakistan and the women will get underway. And then Friday, some more cricket action in the women's side with the third T20 closing up all the T20s, all the T20 series against Pakistan at 7 o'clock that morning. It's an early start for some cricket, an early start for some T20 cricket, mind you. And then on the same day, later on at 2 o'clock, we'll see the men go up against the Afghanistan for their second ODI. Sunday the 22nd, the third ODI against Afghanistan for the guys as well at 2 o'clock. And then on the 27th and the 29th, respectively, the gents will go up against Ireland for the first and second T20. So that's basically what September looks like
has in
for
store
us.
for us. Yeah,
I'm
but
super
also,
excited. I'm super stoked. It's gonna
I
be
mean,
nice
it's
to watch it.
international cricket is back. International cricket is back.
Which
It's something we've missed, honestly. I know, I know. Looking at the West Indies series for the gents, because we're talking about them for the gents. The West Indies series didn't go as planned. I'm sure for Rob Walters and his boys, you
mm,
know. But also for the ladies, I think when they last played was in Australia. That Australia series didn't also go as planned also for those ladies. I think one of the conversations I had with Ayanda, I was on some. I hope we can see more Test cricket for them. I hope they can
yeah,
play, they can be exposed to more Test cricket because this thing of they playing one Test cricket a year. One of the things I think we've started lacking in as SA with CSA, they don't schedule that many cricket matches anymore for whether it's the
Yeah.
men or the female. If we look back
Mm.
to Graham Smith days, when Graham Smith was still a player, we would have 5 match series in 5 days, literally scheduled. I think it was one of the reasons why we went on to be number one for as long as we did under Graham Smith during that
Yeah.
time. You
It
know,
it sort of feels like it sort of feels like the woman is not going to get. I thought about this the other day. It was a random thought. But it sort of feels like the end of an era of Test cricket with the
mm,
women's cricket coming alive, and them not getting as much Test tournaments. It's almost to say, listen, guys, this thing is not. It's no use because this thing is dying. Um, that's sort of the feeling around for me around Test
yeah,
cricket
no,
at
I
all.
get you.
Yeah,
I also feel like it's the same thing. I mean, when Enoch came in, as much as I was rooting for him and hoping we will see more change within the CSA. I think one of the things I've not been a fan of. Well, I've been a fan of the fact that he's pushed women's cricket forward, right?
yeah,
This cricket. I think the most purest of formats, which is Test cricket, you know, the original format, the original game, the pure game of cricket. That's where it is. That's Test. That's what I love watching. As much as I love seeing the ball being blasted all over the place, people running down, up and down in the middle. But Test cricket is also up. It's number one for me. It's
yeah,
number one for me. And then to seeing that both men and women are being starved off playing it, so it's just been sad. But hey, who am I? They are decision makers. They need to make the decisions. And yeah, I mean, it's an hour later now. Our hour's done, fighter. It's
yeah.
almost like we've only. It's literally. It's like we've spoken for only a few minutes. Hey.
Dude, it feels like we just started. Like I wanted to open another can of worms, honestly. But that's how it goes when you chat cricket, and I think that's why this whole thing started was because of conversations like this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
thank you to anyone who's joined us tonight. It's been a fantastic conversation as usual. We obviously going to have a lot more after the series that's happening, that's coming up
Definitely.
on the latter part of September. There is cricket. Um, Cricket has been going on, other international crickets, England and Australia. I think two rivals
Yeah.
go up against each other tomorrow in the first T20 series, which starts at 7
Sri
o'clock.
Lanka and England are also still going on. I know
Yeah,
there was Sri
they just
Lanka was Sri Lanka were trailing by 81 runs. I don't know how it went on today between England and Sri Lanka. Um,
Sri Lanka took the win by 8 wickets, Doug. Like
really, they won.
shy.
I'm
It's
happy.
shy. It's
Baseball.
shy
This thing of baseball, man. I'm down. I'm down with baseball. I was down from the beginning. I was
by
down
eight
from the
wickets.
beginning with baseball. So no, honestly, I'm
I'm gonna
happy.
go and sit and watch highlights now, Doug.
But yeah, to everyone who joined us, thank you very much for joining us. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on all social media platforms. Almost Fire the Crouch, you can find her at Lady Fi, if I'm not mistaken,
No,
on
at the real crouch.
at the Real Crouch, sorry, on Instagram, and then you can find me at Sunnoble Swoo underscore 00. But for now, and also you can Sandman Sport underscore. You guys can find us there. But for now, that's where we leave you guys. Thank you very much. Salute.